Hello, it is Lexi. I started this channel in December and I've only just realized that this is the first time I'm going to be sharing a fresh pasta recipe with you. As Italians, we have a moka pot on the stove and we have our pasta machine permanently attached to our work table. So totally shocking that I'm only sharing this now. So this will be part one of two fresh pasta videos. Part one will be a semolina pasta, which is made with semolina and water and by nature is vegan. So yay, if you are a vegan, you can still have fresh pasta. And I have made it this way for many, many years. Part two will be an egg pasta, and I will explain which pasta works best for which dishes. Today we are making cavatelli. So before I lose you, please believe me that making fresh pasta is not complicated at all. And there are many ways to make it without needing any pasta machine or equipment. And today's video will show you exactly how simple it is. And today's dish is a great one for Valentine's Day because you just made that little bit of extra effort to make your fresh pasta, and believe me, it is always appreciated. Right, enough chatting, let's get into the recipe. Pasta dough made with semolina, which is a more coarse ground flour, holds heavier sauces. The dough is simple, it is just semolina flour and water. 1 cup of water to 2 cups of semolina flour. If you want to make a colored dough here, you could do a beetroot or a spinach to get that pinky red or green color. Just blend your beets or your spinach in the water, in the blender, of course, and then strain it to give yourself a cup of liquid. You don't have to cook the vegetables. And then just add it to the semolina flour. Makes a really, really lovely dough. When making dough, you absolutely have to get your hands in. If you watch the Italian nonnas make dough, they don't measure anything. It is all by feel, and it is not complicated. You want your dough to come together but not be sticky on your hands. So if you need a little bit more flour, add it. And your dough must also not be too dry. So if you need a splash of water, then add it. Once incorporated, you will knead the dough for 5 to 10 minutes, just roughly, until the texture changes to a smooth dough. And if you touch with your finger, there will be a little spring back, which means the gluten is starting to work. When you work with the dough, just cut off a portion and leave the rest covered so that it does not dry out. Making cavatelli is very similar to making gnocchi, if you have made that before. And I will post my link to my gnocchi recipe below, but it's more open on the underside, almost like a seashell. Shapes are there for a reason and more than just to look pretty. The reason behind the shape of cavatelli is that the sauce will catch in the little seashell opening and also on the ridges. How absolutely awesome is that? Cavatelli is more dense and a chewier pasta, and the semolina flour is absolutely perfect for it. So here you'll see me rolling out or shaping the cavatelli, and don't stress if you don't have a gnocchi board, because I will show you other ways that you can make it without needing the equipment. But if you do have, this is one way to do it. And then if you don't have a gnocchi board, you can just use the back of your fork, and it absolutely makes the most beautiful ridges. And it works just as well as a gnocchi board. And then the last way to do it is just shaping it by pressing it against a flat surface. So you get that seashell, but you don't get the ridges. So I kind of prefer the ridges because it just works better in catching up all of that sauce. But you definitely can do it this way.
in spalla, sciabla a fianco, collo dritto, muso franco, un gran casco, un gran turbante, molto onor, poco cantante, poco cantante, poco cantante. Ed invece del fandango una marcia per il fango, per montagne, per valloni, con le nevi e salioni, al concerto di tromboni, di bombarde e di cannoni, che le porre tutti i tuoni all'orecchio fan fischiare.
While you're cooking your pasta, get your sauce back on the stove and just simmering gently. If you learn anything from me about cooking pasta, always, always, always make sure you incorporate your pasta and your sauce, and do not serve bland pasta with a sauce on top. My absolute pet hate. The pasta is always finished off in the sauce. Remember to add a few tablespoons of pasta water into the sauce, as this will add some salt and starch to thicken it up. And you will now finish the cooking process in the pan. Now, how easy was that, and how beautiful does that pasta look? If you enjoyed this recipe, please subscribe. Part 2 will be coming tomorrow. Oh, and the sauce that I used was an arrabbiata sauce, and I will link my video below to that so that you can see how the sauce is made.